Hello, my name is Joseph Pirayou. I want to welcome you to In the Beginning Ashur program on Assyria TV. As always, this is a live program, so if you have any questions or any comments, you can put it live, write it, send it to us. If you can answer that live, I will do that. If you are seeing this recorded, you can leave a note or message, question, comment. I'll try to get back during the next program or just answer you online. We're following today's part 3 of the program, Ashur Empire and the 10 lost tribes of Israel. And before I continue, there were a couple of questions was asked. One of them is like, why the name in the beginning Ashur and you put Genesis 1:1? It's just a matter of misunderstanding certain words in our language. When you read Genesis 1:1, it says, in the beginning, God created heavens and earth. So we're talking about the creator. You want to call him God, Il, Allah, Allah, whatever it is, but what he did, created. So we are talking about the creator. And the creator, in my language, in our culture, or whatever you want to call that, is Ashur. So when I say in the beginning Ashur, that means in the beginning creator. So they go hand in hand. And when you read Exodus 3:14, when Moses is asking God, who should I tell the 12 tribes is sending me, God tells him, Ahiya Ashur Haya, tell him that the living creator has sent you. I am the living creator. So that's one part. The other part is trying to remember. I'll remember that. I'll talk about that later. So in this story here, we're following in the book of Bible, like any other book. We're just reading it. We want to see what's in it. We read books regarding psychiatry. We read books regarding biology. This is the book. It claims to be the word of God, the God that is the creator of heavens and earth. And we're following the story of one man called Abraham. So, and before him, of course, before his name was changed to Abraham, was Abram. And that person, supposedly, this creator makes certain promises to him. And we're just following that family. Something that was interesting that happened that is kind of indirectly related to this bloodline of Abraham's story is that on Facebook, I saw some of my Ashuri friends congratulating their Muslim friends on behalf of a festival or a celebration of a Eid or a feast called Eid al-Ahd. And I just remembered, like from years back when I was in Iran, that it was celebrated. It was a holiday for us. We didn't go to school, so we had a great time, because it was, it's a holiday. Then I remembered the connection that Eid al-Ahd has to the story with Abraham and Isaac. You see, the celebration of the Muslims is that when Abraham is called to be the father of many nations and the blessing that will come from his seeds and would be like dust of the sand, the multitudes like stars in heaven. In Bible, the story is that God tells Abraham to take Isaac and sacrifice him to show to the creator that Abraham trusts him. No matter what the creator is asking him, he will do it, even though he has to kill his unique son. That I mentioned the word unique. It's not only Yichidaya, it's not Ekad. So Muslims, what happened is that in Quran, from what I've heard, is they say, well, Abraham didn't take Isaac, but he took his firstborn Ishmael. And he's the one that was going to be sacrificed. And the same story as we see in the Bible regarding Isaac, just changed that name to Ishmael. And that's the celebration of Eid al-Ahd that I was seeing my Ashuri friends were congratulating They're Muslim friends. And when I was thinking, like, wait a minute. If my Ashuri friends that are congratulating the Muslim friends that they have, and they are Christians, they're congratulating the Muslims on a story that is against their faith. Because if you're a Christian and you believe in the Bible, Abraham was going to sacrifice Isaac, and yet you are congratulating the Muslims, friends of yours, regarding the, you know what I'm saying? It's just, I mean, it's good. You congratulate whatever, whatever you believe in, I congratulate you. But the other part is that the friends that I had that congratulated the Muslim friends, they don't believe in Bible. So you're congratulating somebody that believes in Abraham. Maybe you don't think about it this way. Just put it on Facebook, yeah, congratulations. But it's just, it has like which way are you people thinking? Because if you're a Christian, this is wrong. If you don't believe in Bible, you're confirming Quran is correct. And you say Bible is wrong, but Quran is correct because Abraham was going to sacrifice Ishmael, and those are the promises of God that went to Abraham. There would be multitudes of nations, and seeds would be great, and there would come out of that bloodline a seed that the whole world would be blessed, because that's the claim that they have, that Muhammad is the one that came from the loins of Ishmael through Abraham, and that's why the whole world would be blessed through Islam. So I was just going to throw that out there. I don't want to go too far in that, but either way, it was interesting that these people were congratulating those Muslim friends. Anyway, as I said, we are following this family bloodline of Abraham. We follow them through the promises God made him, that, as I said, would be multitude of nations. They would have power in the world. There would kings and queens come out of Abraham. His wife Sarai becomes Sarah, princess, then his son Isaac. And we'll start with what happens to Isaac. He's going to marry this woman, Rebecca. And in Genesis 24:60, can we see that one? It's going to continue with that. Genesis 24:60. So, where were we? 24:60. So this is the story of Rebecca. Rebecca is related somehow to Sarah and Abraham. And one thing is that God tells Abraham through the seed that he's going to be blessed through Isaac. Isaac is not married, so he goes to that area. There is this brother, sister living there, Laban and Rebecca. And they ask for her hand. It's a long story, but this is the part I wanted to share with you, that it says the family are saying goodbye to their daughter. And it says, and they blessed Rebecca and said to her, our sister, may you become the mother of thousands upon thousands. May your offspring possess the gate of their enemies. So we're following Abraham, Sarah, through them, we come down to Isaac and Rebecca. And now, from Rebecca, we go to when they get married here. We have Abraham is dying. He gives everything he has into Isaac. He has other kids, but he just gives them gifts. But everything he has, he gives to Isaac. So Isaac gets the promises, as I mentioned before. Then when they get married, we see that this is what chapter? Chapter 27. We go to chapter 20. There is so much involved here that I want to make sure we're following to the correct. So God appears to Isaac one more time, and he says to him, this is Genesis 26, chapter 26, verse 24. And the Lord appeared unto him this same night and said, I am the God of Abraham, your father. Fear not, for I am with you, and I will bless you. Multiply your seed for my servant Abraham's sake. And that's the problem that Isaac and Rebecca have later. We see that. Let me see. I'm confusing myself here. So we got to Isaac and Rebecca. So the story of Rebecca, she's not conceiving, and has a problem. Then she prays to God, and she's pregnant, and what they call it, everything was here. Confusing myself. Sorry about that. So what happens is that Rebecca cannot conceive. Forget about the chapter and verse. Rebecca cannot conceive. Isaac prays to God. Then she becomes pregnant while just before the babies are coming out. She has issues, and as if, there's struggle within her, and they find out that there are twins, and they are scared because this is not something normal that happens in I guess, in that area or whatever. And Rebecca prays to the Lord, and she inquires, like, what is going on? And the Lord says to her that there are two nations inside you. Two nations. The older will serve the younger. Okay? So when the time comes, the baby's coming out. The first one comes out is hairy, red, what they call it, when he's, as I said, coming out. Then when the first baby comes out, the second one, the twin, is holding to the feet of his brother. So when they see the first one coming out, they call him Esau because he's hairy, he's red. I don't know what Esau means exactly, but the brother, since he's holding to his brother's feet, is called Jacob, which means heel catcher, which is not a good name to have because it means like cheater or supplanter or something that somebody likes to deceive other people, is not very honest. So this twins, when they're born and they're growing up, we hear the older brother Esau is a hunter. He's a man of the field. This is in chapter 25. We read that they grow up. Esau was a hunter and a man of the field, but Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And Isaac, he loved Esau because, he was a tough guy. He's a man's man. He goes hunting. He's like, tough. And he would hunt for his father, bring him. So Isaac loves Esau. But Rebecca, she loved Jacob because Rebecca got that promise from God that the younger would be a great nation, then the older would serve him. Now, here's that story that I don't know how much you know about, is that Jacob, they're grown, is making some pottage or some kind of soup, and his brother Esau has gone hunting, but he didn't catch anything, and is coming and tells his brother Jacob, I'm so hungry, I'm dying, just give me some of your food you're making. And Jacob says, well, you want food? Why don't you sell your birthright to me? And Esau says, what do you mean birthright? I'm hungry, give me some of the food you're making. Jacob says, no, go make your own. But if you want my food, you sell your birthright right here, right now. I give you whatever you want to eat. Then Esau looks around and says, you know what? I'm dying of hunger. I'm so hungry, I can't even walk. What is that birthright going to do me right? If I'm going to die, what kind of a birthright that is? He says, it's yours. Just give me food. So Jacob, gives it to him, and he eats. He gives him the pottage. And towards the end of chapter 25, says that he eat and drink and rose up and went his way. So this is, the verse says, Esau despised his birthright. I was looking about this because a long time ago, they used to tell us like profanity is wrong, this and that. And I don't know what you think profanity is, but in Hebrew chapter 12, verse 16, it talks about Esau. Can we see that? Hebrew 12:16. It says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, for who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Like that's profanity for God. We're following that bloodline. The birthright was so important to Jacob. I mean, the brother is hungry, just give him food. But he says, no, you know what? I know I want this because birthright goes to the firstborn. So since Esau was the firstborn, he was supposed to get that. But first, he sells that to Jacob. But later, we see that, what's his name? Isaac is getting old. And he says, it's time. And he can't see as much as he was able to see. He was almost blind. And he tells his son Esau, he says, listen, I want you to go hunt, get something, make me food. After I eat, I will bless you. And I will give you the blessings I received from my father that came to me, and I'm going to give it to you. So Esau goes hunting. Rebecca is listening, says to Jacob, listen, why don't you go make some nice pottage or soup that you normally make, and you can take the food in front of your father. And Jacob says, wait a minute, my brother is hairy, his voice, his smell, everything. But the moment I go in there, my father, instead of blessing me, is going to curse me. She says, don't worry about it. He goes, they get a goat, they make the soup. What the mother does is cuts that skin and puts it on his arms and the back of the head, and like trying to make the Jacob look like Esau, hairy. So he makes the food. Poor Esau is in the field hunting. He's feeling good. My father's going to bless me. I'm going to make him nice soup, this, that, food, kebab maybe, right? While he's in the field, Jacob and his mom, they deceiving the father. The story is that Jacob goes in, says hello. Father says, wait a minute, this sounds like Jacob, but he touches him, smells him. He says, okay, he eats it, then blesses Jacob with the same blessing that God had blessed Abraham, had blessed him, and he put the blessing on Jacob. Then, what's his name comes out? The brother makes the soup, takes it to his father. He says, Father, here I am. He says, wait a minute, I already gave you the blessing. He said, no, it was my brother, this, that. Now, the words I'm here trying to get to is that the name of this program was from Jacob to Israel. There is a long way to get to Israel because we want to see who is Jacob. In chapter 27, verse 36, after Esau finds out that he's not going to get the blessing, he's not going to get the birthright, he's not going to get nothing. He's going to get crap. He says, is not Jacob rightly named? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he has taken away my blessing. First of all, if somebody wants to talk to Esau, says, listen, you were hungry and you just had no value for you. That's why you lost it. Because another time we see that in verse 34, 35, chapter 26 says, Esau was 40 years old when he took to wife Judith, the daughter of Beri the Hittite, and Basima, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, which were a grief of mine unto Isaac and to Rebekah. He was a man on his own. He didn't really care about the family. He didn't really care about the family bloodline, family tree, how these blessings. So he was just, he was like, okay, give me the blessing, but he had no value for him. He wasn't marrying into the family that would believe, foreigners, strangers. So the seed was there not to be the right seed when you see what is happening with Esau. So just getting started with Isaac, with Jacob. So what happens to Jacob is that after this happens and Esau is asking his father, any blessing for me? He says, no, you will serve your brother. You will be in the field. You will be hunting. You will be like a nomad in the desert. And Esau cries. He's mad. He says, I'm going to kill that SOB. Everybody hears that. So his mother finds out, says, Jacob, time to get out. Before he leaves, father calls him back, says, now, come here, let me give you blessing to you. You don't need to steal it or anything. The other son is not part of the promise. He goes to the father, gets the promises, the seed, blessing on the earth, stars of heaven, being gates of enemies. Yeah, I know these are repetition, but that's the way we want to get to the tribes. The blessings, are they going to the tribes? The tribes are missing. The tribes are lost. Is there any importance? Remember, we're following a bloodline that this creator has promised, and we want to see the promises that this guy is making. Are they worthy? Are they to spend time on these? Our life? Chapter 28, Genesis, verse 13 says, behold, the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord God of Abraham, your father, and the God of Isaac, and the land where you're seeing lies to you, I will give it, and to your seed. This is when Jacob is running away from his brother. He goes to this area and he finds some rocks. He puts them together. He puts his head, sleeps, and sees that dream of stairway going up and down, angels going up and down. He gets up in the morning, says, like, what kind of a dreaded place is this? And he says, God was here. And this is the dream that he sees, that God is blessing him. And he pours oil on that piece of rock that he had his head on, used it as a pillow. And verse 19, chapter 28 says, and he called the name of that place Beth-El. But before we get that, let's see that Genesis 28:15. This is the part that continuation of the promise from Abraham, Isaac to Jacob. Behold, I am with you, will keep you wherever you go, will bring you back to this land, for I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. Right? If this is fulfilled, then we get to this creator, as I said later. I mean, there is a track record of fulfilling the promises being made. That's where we're going to be on solid ground, following the promises of this creator that later sends his son to be the savior. He says, I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. We'll see if he has done it. There's a track. See, we can track these through the word, to the what happening in the world. There's things that we can check. Unfortunately, the problem that I've had when I talk to my Christian brothers and sisters that believe in Jesus Christ and the Bible, we talk about the tribes, and it's, we don't care about these, just they get offended. I don't know what they're teaching nowadays in these churches. I mean, regardless of apostolic churches, Presbyterian churches, or Protestant churches, it's like, I don't want to use the word dumb, but they say to these people, come inside, but before you enter, park your brain, come in, we fill your head with our doctrine. This is Roman Catholic. This is Orthodox. This is Church of the East. This is Church of the North. This is Church of the South. This is Protestant. This is Presbyterian. This is Baptist. This is that. This is that. We put like God in a frame and say, this is Christianity. And this is the problem for the Ashur nation with, I believe, with misleading, wrong teaching, have split our people in so many different denominations that some of these denominations have become an ethnic group, like Chaldean, like Aramean, like Syriac, like even the Assyrians, they don't call themselves, we are Aturite. The name Ashur has gone. Even people that believe in the Creator. Anyway, before I go further with what I was telling you about these promises, the last part, which was very interesting for me. So when Jacob gets up in the morning, says there's God was here, and pours the oil and blesses the, what they call it. Let's see the verse. Genesis 28, 18, 19. So after he sees that the dream, that there were angels coming up and down, and God tells him the promise that it was in the previous verse 15. So Jacob rose up early in the morning. He took the stone that he had put for his pillow and set it up for a pillar and poured oil upon the top of it. And he called the name of that place Bethel. Now, Bethel in English, Bethel, there is Bethel Church. We have one big one here in San Jose area. Is a huge congregation. They gather, but that's a word in the Ashur language. Bethel means Bet-Il, house of God. Il is God, Il is God, Beth is house, like Bethlehem. Like Bethlehem, Bet means house, Lahem means bread, house of bread. There are a lot of words that are used here in the Bible. Our people, the people of Ashur, makes more sense when you read it in the original language. But what happens is that this guy pours oil, blesses that piece of rock. He sets it up as a pillow. It was a pillow, sets it up as a pillar, pours oil on it. And throughout the Bible, when somebody is being blessed, like when King Saul was becoming king, Samuel pours oil on his head and anoints him, anointed one. The only material, the only thing outside of a person being anointed in the Bible is this piece of rock. And it's called house of God. Right? Now, you want to show this other photo? That rock? Now, I don't know how true that is, but I have this book, which we're going to get to that later too, while we're following the 12 tribes. Jacob's Pillar, a biblical historical study. You see these stairs that they are showing, during the dream of Jacob, edges going up, and at the end of it is that rock. The rock that you see in the photo here. This is called the Stone of Scone, Stone of Destiny, Jacob's Pillar. And it is right now in Scotland, Edinburgh, I believe Edinburgh, but I think I'm pronouncing it wrong, Edinburgh. I believe that's the capital of Scotland. There's a museum, and they say this is, and when King Charles was crowned king a month or so ago, this rock had to be there to make it legitimize that throne. And they say this is the same rock as the one that Jacob put his head on. I don't know. But we're following the stories. We're following the history of these people as much as we can to see this creator. This creator, is he real? Is he not? Is Ishmael the one that's going to get all these promises, or is it Isaac? Or do we really care? Why do we want to waste our time, sit here half an hour, talk about this? Because it's involved nation of Ashur. Ashuri people are involved in this. It shows who we are, shows actually who we were, what we did, who we are, and the future that affects us. The unity of identity. That's the main reason for this program called In the Beginning, Ashur. As always, as the end of the program, keep it simple. Ahia, Ashur Haya, in the name of I am the living God, the unity dance, Sheikhani, Mabqila. Thank you.
Sheikhani.